Hi everyone, this is Greg, Gregoire from Greg's Whisky Guys. No, you're not mistaken, it is still my YouTube channel, but like I said earlier on, from time to time I will speak about other spirits than whiskey. Even if this one today, cognac, has some things in common, double distillation, the use of oak, wood and we other things, but of course it isn't distilled after grain but after grapes. So what I'm gonna do is here tell you about an important update I did on my website about cognac, then also give you some generalities about cognac, and then finally explain, just present you quickly my Cognac collection, and explain also that I will do some reports or interviews and videos about cognac in the following months. I don't know exactly when, because there's a lot of whiskey topics coming on. So we'll speak also in this channel about cognac, about Armagnac. I'm also, like I said earlier on, I extended a bit my Cognac and Armagnac collection, and also French whiskey, because I've been a bit late to cover my country's production. There are reasons for that. I did explain them already, I think. And I don't want to do a too long video, so basically just to let you know, by the time this video will be published, my pages about my journey to cognac in 2014 in the cognac area. I'm gonna show you a bit more what are the cognac protected areas by French regulations. So I did went then at the invitation of Guillaume Grosperrin, who runs the cognac merchant and also producer, because they mature cognacs they get from other sources also. So this is Jean Grosperrin cognac, for instance, with all these regulations explained and certifications and also description. And yeah, I did publish this in 2015 on my website, big report about my visit to Guillaume Grosperrin. But the thing is, the topic was so huge, and Guillaume made us several tasting, and also in shows way before our journey with a group of friends there, and I did also blend some cognacs with him in a special occasion. And so the topic was so big already that I just published it. I cut the half of the, let's say, of the journey, because it was way too long. Also because of different reasons, including the fact that the pictures for the second topic were not as good as the first one for Grosperrin. And also there were more pictures of my group of friends, and they don't want to be, some of them are big collectors, not only about cognac, they don't want to be into any report, video, picture and stuff, so which I plainly understand. So I had to cut into my pictures gathered there and say, oh no, I cannot show this one, this one, this one. So I ended up saying, okay, let's give up for now VALLEIN-TERCINIER, which is the second domain, and this is fully a producer from start to finish, from wine to bottling on site this time. And I was a bit annoyed by that. Also, this is the only bottle I had at that time, but I gathered a few samples, and also I bought this novelty 2 years ago, I think, was the first batches, something like that. So I said, why not? And also thanks to Rob, Whisky in the Six, who recently reviewed, and apparently, because I haven't tried it, a beautiful old vintage of Vallein-TERCINIER. So it reminded me, it was a pity not to finish up completely the topic on my website. So I said, okay, let's do it. And when you will see this video out, I will have completed the topic. Apologies again, it's in French because it's too big. So if I want to cover everything I am trying to cover, I have to do some sacrifices. So now with Google Translate and stuff, I hope you'll be able to understand some stuff about cognac. Now on to a few generalities to help you in English. While I will put a link below, I will put several links. I will put a link below in the description to my report about cognac, so you will be able to see pictures of the cognac production process, plus of the sites of 2 companies. And you will be also seeing tasting notes, even if they're French. You will see which cognacs I tried so far. Even if there's another section, I will also put a link on my website about other spirits. Plus, I will give you a very precious link about which is the equivalent of the SWA for cognac, so the BNYC, le BNIC in French. Which is an office that helps to explain regulations about cognac and specificity of cognacs, but also organizes tastings. And this, I'm gonna show you, this is a brochure they gave me in some show, and it is very interesting. And now they have, since a few years, they have put an English version of the website. They do, so you're gonna know everything about cognac, even if it slightly sometimes changes from producer to another, but about regulations, terroir in its true meaning and fully meaning. Sorry guys, this is for you know who, for instance, in Ireland. So you will know everything about it, and maybe you will be also in capacity then to make yourself an opinion if this some spirit that could interest you or not. Still some generalities to help out a bit for you. Cognac is not made out of grain, but it's wine which is distilled, and so the wine is pressed, and it is not manual anymore. It's a kind of screw, big process. The juice is fermented 3 weeks, and there's a bit of yeast added to help for the fermentation, which leads us to a bit kind of 9% ABV wash, let's say, the equivalent for whiskey, and then it's distilled. So first run, because it's a double distillation, it's called brouillis. It's the first run, and the second one, it's second distillation, leads to what they call in French bonne chauffe. And why bonne chauffe? Because there's a cut, as in whiskey, and the heads and tails are discarded, so they only use the heart of the run. Also, I have to add, the distillation is very particular. It has to respect the seasons of the wine, harvesting and stuff. So they only distill in cognac from winter to the month of March. And also they use 2 varieties of so French oak. So French oak, mainly they use from the forest of Français, which is lighter in tannins, or they use Limousin oak, which is a bit heavier in tannins. So according to the result they want to have. And bear in mind there are tannins from the wine, but there are others from the wood, so it's a tricky question and complicated. So then the cognac goes for 2 years in new oak. So of course it is toasted or a bit charred. Toasted are mandatory, charred it depends, but mostly toasted. And then it goes into older casks that have already held some cognac. So it's kind of a combination of a new oak and refill cask, but refill cognac cask. Quick also on the generalities, they use still that are called Alambic Charentais. Charente is the area. I'm going to show you on the map here. Cognac has to be bearing a 40% ABV minimum. The distillation ABV at the second distillation cannot go beyond 72.4 ABV legally at 20% Celsius degrees. In order to get more wood extraction, they often dilute it to 65% before casking. It's a trend, it's a use, not by all, but to get the cognac name, they have to be produced in France and in the areas that are mandatorily the wine is coming from, the vineyard varieties. It has to be matured in oak for 2 years and a day. What else? Yeah, so the Charentais alambic is a French word for still. There's limited, it's in French, I'm sorry, 30 hectolitres. So it's not big stills. I'm going to show you pictures. Yeah, you're not allowed to distill after the 31 of March of the year that follows the harvest, the wine harvest. The one that will be used for cognac. Cognac is from 17th century, while Armagnac is from the 15, the first ones, let's say. The terroir notion is very important, and it's these regulations about the areas and stuff come from low regulation from year 1909. 1909. Basically, it's in the Charente-Maritime department, and it goes out also in Deux-Sèvres and Dordogne. It's the French areas. They have to come from the following grape varieties: Colombard, Folle Blanche, Montil, Sémillon, Hunier Blanc, or Folignan. But the last one, the Folignan, cannot represent more than 10%. Then, yeah, the most prestigious, there are 6 areas by regulations. Most prestigious are Borderie, then Fin Bois, then Bon Bois, then Bois Ordinaire, and Bois à Terroir, which is near the Atlantic Ocean. And they also, which is not very much known, produce cognac in the islands of Île de Ré, and Ré et Oléron are the name of the islands. So Île de Ré et Île d'Oléron are cognac areas. Well, the production of whiskey is around 1 billion liters per year, and it's a number for from 1915, so it has to be updated. The French production is much less, and for instance, there's only around 200,000 bottles per year produced. and there are more than 3,000 distilleries, but none of them produce more than 0.5% of the total volume. So it's very sparse everywhere. The production costs are very high, higher than whiskey, because there's wine harvesting and all the possibility of loss, etc. Plus the storage, often much longer, like in Armagnac, than whiskey, because you can have Armagnacs and Cognac from the 19th centuries, and I tried some. 18% of the stock is held by the independent bottlers of the cognac, but 80% of it is not bottled by themselves, so it's quite a complicated situation. The vintages by law were forbidden for cognac until 1988. But you have, if you do vintages, you have to get an exciseman to certify it is this, and there are controls and all that stuff. Okay, this is for the biggest thing, the areas of cognac, and you will find this online, and don't worry if you cannot read it. Here you can see all the areas of cognac, the legal ones. You see, so you will find this online, and just to show you where I was, if I can find it. Whoa, it's a bit complicated on this one. I haven't planned. Oh yeah, okay. I was there in 2014. It's not easy. I was there in Sainte, this, and a bit far in Charmignac. So the two places where you can find in my report. Yeah, it's a trend now to promote cognac in cocktails, young cognac. Oh yeah, I forgot the main trouble for maybe purists in whiskey. It's in cognac by regulation. You have the right to have additives, but that doesn't mean every producer does. So for instance, there are more additives allowed than in whiskey. So you have not only E150A caramel essence, but you have also the right to use an infusion of wood chips, which called essence de boisé. Bois means wood. Of course, you have the right, like in whiskey, to add demineralized or distilled water to reduce the ABV before bottling. But also, and it's the main problem for me, you have the right to use saccharose brut, which is sugar, unrefined sugar. These are the colors according to the BNIYC that you can get in whiskey, but as you will see, you can have much darker ones here, and with no caramel and no additives. Now before I stop, and yeah, they use only dunnage warehouses. They do not use palletized or racks. And yeah, this you can be how they toast the casks. All this is on the website, so you really have to get to the website, guys. And this is special, shapes. There are several shapes according to the effect they want to have on the stills Charentais. And as you can see here, many, not all, because some use gas now, but many are still heated by a direct fire. So wood, they chop wood and then put into this, and I saw it. And yeah, of course, the start of everything is grapes. So now I showed you all this thing. It's already 20 minutes past. I'll show you my collection. This is 25 years old, that's why they call. Yeah, by the way, when they cannot pull the certify the any age statement, or age statements in cognac mostly are regulated names for abbreviations, VSOP, XO, etc. Everything is explained on the website, on the extended topic I wrote. It's in French, but you will find everything on their website, on the BNIC website, so don't worry about that. So when they cannot state the age, they will sometimes use a trick. You will see they will just use the last numbers of the vintage. So for instance, this, they cannot use it. It's one of my probably my most beautiful bottle. Look at this, pure natural, 72 for 1972, and it's 41 years old. So yeah, this is XO, for instance, from family-owned Agneau Sabourin cognac, but it as the regulation state, it has to be 10 years old. Before, a few years ago, it was 6 years old minimum. Now they extended to 10 years old. This is more often in many companies. They use much older casks. Not for all, but the younger often is 10 years old, but you can find until 40 years old stuff in it and more. This one has 25 years old in it, and it's a very delicate one. Most of the cognacs, especially all the big companies, the commercial companies, let's say, which some have interesting products, some have less ones, and some have good products, but are too much reduced, ABV reduced in my opinion, and too much additives. So even when you come across very old vintages or very old supposed content, the problem will be the price, because you will pay the maximum, where in the bottling territory or small families that still maintain decent prices, you will find much better values, like Rob said in his video. I don't totally agree though with him, because for instance, when you see this from a big company, Martel, the Cordon Bleu, even if it's 40% and it's probably with caramel color, it's very old content in there, and it shows, and the profile is very unique. Reminded me a bit of, yes, Black Beaumont, which I explained in my 15 exceptional video whiskies to try before you die. So please see that, you will understand why I did this comparison. Very risky for some, let's say. So in my collection I have basic stuff, such as this nice Camus VS, so it's supposed to be only 2 years old, VSOP 4 years old, XO 6 to 10, but now 10, Hordage, Napoleon, Très Vieille Réserve, etc. is over 6 years old as well. So this is very nice. This is nice for mixing, but also for cooking, and especially when it's alcohol like that, you better keep it for the last part of your of the cooking, otherwise it will just evaporate. So just to top it off, or to top some dessert, and to do nice cocktails. I will buy me the VSOP very soon, because I heard it was interesting. Other in my collection, some traditional ones, 40%, but very flavorful Louis Royer VSOP. So all these will be reviewed, some one by one, some with different, I will group them. Vallein-Tercinier, this is unfortunately not on sale, but it's one of the most beautiful cognac I ever tried, and it's only 13 years old, and I rated it 94 out of 100. Okay, my scale is a bit more higher than Serge Valentin. Usually you have to drop 4 to 6 points minimum, but sometimes we rejoin in some whiskies. So Vallein-Tercinier, I did visit them, so this is the extension of the topic I was talking about, with this acquisition that clearly targets, like I said in a live show, whiskey fans, and you know why. I don't have to explain, I think. Very nice one, a bit drier compared to this one. This one is almost a red breast cask strength. It's very single, but still like. Even if it's 46% ABV, no additives. 46% ABV, no additives. Unchill filtered, uncolored like this one. We have also in a softer territory, let's say for people who just start to discover, you can try Camus, but you can try also Cognac Lera. This one is a nice XO, it's 40% ABV, possibly colored and chill filtered, doesn't state it, almost never stated by the way, it's not mandatory. But it's a bit weak now compared to those monsters. So this company in the bottling and but also producing in terms of négociant-éleveur will be the name for wine, but it also can be used for cognac. So this is only a wee parcel, there's a batch number, so 363 liters. It's the amount they're obliged to, and it's 50.2 ABV. So, and this one is fin bois only, so among the most refined. This is a Grand Champagne. It has nothing to do Champagne and Grand Champagne, Petit Champagne are areas that are explained there, and you will see the link again to have all the explanations. They're not related to Champagne, the area Champagne, because we're in the other side of France. It's just by regulation names. I know why, but it's a bit complicated to explain now. So this one is 41 years old. Look at this, natural color. This is 55.4 ABV, vintage 72. And this I used, I had the chance to, this is all that is left. This is an amazing Vallier bottle I had. We did the blending session with Cognacs GROSPERRIN, the bottle that just showed you, memorable in 2012. We're only 4 people to do that, and we did ourselves work after pouring in big stuff. The demijohns we used for that. I was almost emotional to carry this 41 years old big jug. When I say big jug, yeah. Let me show you if I can see some. So contrarily to whiskey, except for some very high-end, very old stuff, for instance from Delmore or Macallan, where they use re-racking a lot for their older whiskies. I tried one from the 19th century, for instance, in Dalmore. Some of the casks had to be re-racked, and I'm almost sure they have been. I don't have a picture, but there is one in the report with a link below. When the cognac are too old, if they cannot re-rack put it into other casks, they will put it into big jugs, glass jugs, sometimes covered with straw, in order not to see the light, because light degrades alcohol. Once again, especially matured alcohol, it's a pity. So they put into around 26 liters, 30 liters Dame Jeanne, which is in English the equivalent is demijohn. And there was one that were used, for instance, by John Glaser to do a special bottle your own on Whisky Live Paris, and I have the bottle, by the way. So yeah, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about cognac when I went there in 2014. Also by blending with Guilhem, and it took us, I think, 5 hours, 4 hours to do 7 different recipes after only the equivalent of 4 casks. And I ended up, and I'm the only one that took this recipe. There was C5, we called it Cuvée 5. I'm the only one that took this bottle, so that's why I put it into a Luca Gargano rum bottle usually. And it's signed, by the way. So I keep it as a souvenir. And what I was going to say, I forgot now. And yeah, it's basically with the recipe I've chosen, because I love this 72 vintage. I tried to put the most I can in this. So basically it's half of the bottle or a bit more is 30 to 40 years old stuff, just to let you know. Cognac's prices, if you go once again away from the big names, you can find very interesting things in the indie bottling, let's say, territory, and some experiments now also that have made. There's a lot of other companies than these, of course. I will tell you more about it soon when I will do the different videos and live shows with some experts and producers if I can. And yet I still have some samples to try. This is, for instance, a Vallein-TERCINIER Conjugaison 49, which is basically a mix of casks from 1922 and 1949. This is a nice gift from one of our members group. This is a cask strength at 57.7, 45 years old. My vintage, 1965. So I'm keeping this for a special occasion. I'll still have some samples of my visit 72 from another cask. 1972, 1971. 60% ABV. Yeah, sometimes they use, it's tonnage warehouse, but sometimes they use concrete walls instead of wood or stone to increase the heat. So this is equivalent to our palletized warehouse. This is also a GROSPERRIN. It's also a friendly gift. 1944, over 60 years old. Whew, cognac. I've been privileged to try all this, honestly. So I hope you find it interesting, and I hope you will have a look at the links below. So to finish with this, bon voyage au pays du cognac. Have a great journey in the cognac country. Et à bientôt. See you soon.